welcome to another FAQ Monday. I'm your host, Fluff, and this will probably be the last FAQ of the year. I had some extra time. I figured, you know what? Dad should squeeze in another FAQ if he can. And so far it's going pretty good. First question, are we going to get another episode of the Riffs and Beards podcast? Honestly, probably not. It's really a time thing. Me and Luke really enjoy doing the podcast. We actually haven't really talked about it. I looked the other day and it's been since June we did the last episode of the podcast. Just busy, man. Just busy. Luke's doing really well with his stand-up comedy. I'm touring a lot. When you see this, I fly out in the morning tomorrow, Tuesday morning, and I won't be home till March. So really busy. I might do a different podcast, like a guitar related podcast or a music related podcast. I'm not sure, but as far as the Riffs and Beards podcast, me and Luke, I think it's went 9-9, and it's probably not waking up. What a horrible way to put that. Sorry. If you could only choose one rig minus guitar for what you do, what would it be? For what I do? And now, is that in the context of the YouTube channel or live? I'm gonna assume you mean like a live gigging situation. If I could go back to big giant tube amps, I would do it in a heartbeat because I love them. Honestly, for what we do, I would have some sort of half stack, honestly, and a Helix 4-cable method, and I would either have a 2-channel dual or triple rectifier, or some sort of like rev amp or something like that. Dragged undertone is very modern. Or actually, you know what? Ooh, probably a Friedman. I'll probably have a Friedman half stack, or I don't know, Friedman or a Rev, because Rev is the reason why I say Rev is because the Rev generator tone in the Helix is what my main live tone is, and it sounds amazing and I love it. So I would have to say either a Rev generator or a Friedman JJ maybe, or something like that. The JJ Mini I've used in practice before, and it's stunning, and it's one of my favorite tones I've ever had personally. So yeah, one rig minus the guitar, probably Friedman half stack or a Rev half stack with a Line 6 Helix 4-cable method, and that would literally be it. I could do anything with that rig. That'd be a great rig, wouldn't it? How are you getting a hold of your drum and bass tracks? Are they stems, or do you download files from somewhere, or do you create them? Pretty much 100% of the time I have created it, and I did it from scratch. The bass, I recently, just for time's sake, I've recently gone to just doing a lot of MIDI bass. And you guys, every single time you guys comment on a video going, this bass tone is gnarly, that's Submission Audio's Eurobass 2 or Punk Bass, and I don't do anything to it, hilariously enough. But as far as drum stuff goes, I program everything. And in the rare instance that I can't program it, I'll have someone else program it. But I never ever use like audio stems or anything like that, just because I have no control over the fidelity of those. So I'd rather just do the hard work and plot what I'm gonna plot. And that way I at least can get it to sound how I want it to sound. Show us how to get your guitars, amps, and cabs, quote unquote, tour ready, please? I'm literally in the process of doing that just now. In a nutshell, tour ready is, you know, that check that you see pilots do on the plane where they're like feeling the skin and they're looking in the engine and kicking the tires and stuff like that, pre-check. That's kind of what I do with my gear. So starting with the guitars, I'll put in fresh batteries, okay, because I'm active pickups, I have Fishmans. I'll change strings close to when we're leaving, so I'll have a fresh set for the first show. I'll do things like wipe the guitar down, I'll check the neck, make sure I don't need to adjust anything. A general wellness check for the guitars is basically what I'm doing, right? Moving on to the amps. With the Helix stuff, we don't really have to do too much, although they spend a huge amount of time in a cold trailer at our drummer Kaylin's house. But generally speaking, we'll get the racks out and we will go over things like cables, right? So wearing items, cables that may be rubbing on something, cables that we use for the in-ear system, those get abused a lot. We do have to change those out periodically. The snake from the in-ear system to the front of house, that's a heavily worn item. Foot switch cables, I inspect all of my cables just because I have had things go wrong live in the middle of a show, and when an Ethernet cable on your controller for your Helix goes wrong, it starts doing some funny stuff. It starts changing patches and stuff because there's a short in the cable. So I'm just doing a general wellness check. I'm checking the pedals, I'm checking the power connections in the back, make sure everything's plugged in, etc., etc. And if I had a pedal board, or when I had a pedal board, I would inspect and change out a lot of my patch cords just as preventative maintenance. Again, it depends on what your rig is and how big your rig is. But I mean, that's the nice thing about having a processor is like there's nothing really to do. It's mainly just worrying about the guitars, cleaning them up, getting strings changed, making sure the neck's straight, the setup's good, batteries are changed out, and then otherwise you're pretty good to go. Have you tried the Waza headphones yet? Not yet. I am trying to get a hold of a pair. I really want to try them out because everyone that I know that has tried them out is blown away. And as someone who does not like listening to guitar tones on headphones, I'm really curious. They're supposed to sound like an amp in a room with the headphones on, is basically the selling point. I think they're pretty expensive though, a couple $100, even more, something like that. I think they're $300-400. But if they work and they sound sick and they have that built-in wireless, like the transmitter, that's awesome. So I would really like to try them. I have a contact at Boss. I'm working on getting a set, but again, I'm gonna be gone till March. So I'm going to go and track them down at NAMM and possibly try them there. Any big plans for 2020? I have some things up my sleeve. I'm gonna be putting out some maybe signature products, maybe some things with my name on them, some things that don't have my name on them, some entrepreneurial things. I think there's a lot of touring in my future as well with the band, which is cool. And I can still work on the road. I do still plan on filming stuff on the road, but currently 2020 looks like a life-changing year for me personally. So, and I mean that, in a positive way. So hopefully it's gonna pan out that way. I never really know. Got some things coming. I'm also working on maybe doing another giveaway thing, maybe a contest thing. I don't know, I'm rolling around a few things, but it's gonna be pretty cool either way. And now, Fluff reads a tweet. Touring is just driving great distances to hear your bandmates fart in a different location. That's true. My suggestion to you this week is to check out my band's new album, The World Is In Your Way. Dragged Under's first full-length album is here, and when you see this, the album will be out this Friday, January 17th. If you have ever wanted to support me in any way, shape, or form, please save it, buy it, download it, just listen to it. Just listening does so much for me and the rest of the guys as far as metrics and placement and etc. All that stuff is really important. And we are super proud of this album. It's a banger. There is not one fill song. And this has been a year in the making. And yeah, I really sincerely hope you guys enjoy what you hear. All the pickable links down below in the description. You've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Video's over. I hope it was good. I mean, if it wasn't good, I apologize. But if it was good, you're welcome.